What's up?
Welcome, folks. We are so excited to have you here. I'm Hannah Lieberman.
I'm Josh Sokol.
And this is the NASPA Person of the Year Awards. Woo! That was the live studio audience. Awesome. Well, we're so pumped to have you here and to let you guys know all the cool things that are going on in NASPA right now, in addition to our awesome Person of the Year. Josh, where are you chatting with us from today?
I'm in my Montreal basement as per usual. Some of you might recognize the background.
Mom's basement, so it ended up very cooler than I was anticipating the sentence starting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, close. What about you, Hannah?
I was going to say sunny New York City, but it is absolutely pouring here. But I'm in New York City, and it's sunny because it's New York and it's awesome. Awesome. Well, why don't we get things going here?
Yeah, so there's a few things we're going to talk about before we announce the NASPA Person of the Year. And I think the first thing we're going to talk about is a few tournaments that are coming back to us this year.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, we're both going to this one, right?
Lake George.
Yeah, Lake George, the first one. I'm definitely going. What about you?
So is my mom. I've never been to Lake George before, so I'm very excited. And also it's just been a really long time since since tournament Scrabble, so I'm pumped just to get back to it.
Yeah, so a few tournaments have already been held, especially in the United States. Canada's starting to get back into it as well. But this is the first like really big tournament that's going to be held.
And there's
since the pandemic. Yeah.
There's a special promotion with these bigger tournaments, which is at tournaments where they have more than 50 players. They're going to be doing these satellite events. So the directors are going to get to pick who amongst the players wins this free registration to nationals.
Yeah, so Nationals, as it's now called, the Scrabble Players Championship, it's changed names again, is going to be held in Baltimore, if all goes well, this coming next summer. And so, yeah, these big events that have, I guess it's either 50 or 100 players in them, they get, for every 50 players, one player is going to be chosen to be able to participate at nationals and get a free entry. So that's really cool. So we have Lake George coming. That's in a few weeks. We have Asheville, which is the Autumn Leaves. I think they call it the Autumn Leaves tournament.
Always gorgeous, but in the autumn, it's just idyllic. And if you're a fan of stepping on crunchy leaves, like I am, 10 out of 10, highly recommend.
Yeah, that's November. I almost went. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it, but it looks really exciting. Another like 100 players are scheduled for that. And then the big one, I would say, is New Orleans, everyone's favorite tournament in January. That's going to be held, that they basically confirmed they're going ahead with January 15th. I want to see all of you people come into this tournament. It's by far the best tournament on the schedule. I don't know. You've never been, have you, Hannah?
No. I mean, I've been to nationals in New Orleans. I don't know how we picked 3 places with particularly good food, but if that's what's motivating people to come to Scrabble tournaments, then so be it. But those are 3 places that I happen to know all have excellent restaurants, which is may or may not be why I'm most excited. Partially because my mom is coming with me, and I'm pretty sure she'll be treating. So
that sounds like a perfectly good reason. But yeah, okay. So let's get on with it.
Going on Scrabble tournaments with your mom, because she
I don't know if I've ever done that. I think yeah, I think you're kind of lucky. You're kind of lucky.
I am very lucky.
Getting out of mom's basement, you know.
Alrighty. Well, let's talk a little bit about the main reason why we're here today, which is the NASPA Person of the Year Awards. And it actually has a longer title than this, right? It's named after Michael Wise. It's the Michael Wise Memorial Person of the Year Awards. Now, Josh, can you tell us a little bit about who Michael Wise was? That's a
Yeah, so Michael Wise was a pioneer not only in Canadian Scrabble, but in North American Scrabble and worldwide Scrabble as a whole. He really brought the game to Canada. I think something like 40 years ago or so is when he started becoming involved. He was running the Toronto Scrabble Club for I think like I don't know, a long time. And John Chew ended up replacing him. And so, yeah, they named the Person of the Year award just because of how much he contributed um, before his unfortunate parting. So that's actually the full name of this award. Yeah.
Yeah, and sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's just yeah. So Michael's wife, widowed wife, Linda Wise, has also been holding a tournament every year in Toronto called the Michael Wise Memorial Tournament, and she has this quote here that you could read to
Yeah,
the
it
viewers.
says, the Michael Wise Fund at Princess Margaret Hospital enables patient comfort by supplying equipment that the hospital cannot afford. Donations to the fund help suffering cancer patients ease their pain and find some pleasure in their most difficult and challenging times. Certainly a worthwhile cause, and we've included a link here where you can go to donate to the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation, which is the pmcf.ca/donate. And you can choose to allocate your donation to the Michael Wise Memorial Fund. I think obviously an incredibly worthwhile cause.
Yeah, many people have already donated, including John Chew, Judy Cole, and also the person who's putting together this whole broadcast, Josh. And it's a really, really great fund. Basically just helps cancer patients remain as comfortable as possible in their last days. So yeah, really worthwhile cause. So you guys can go and donate if you feel like it. Yeah, that's about it for that. There's a bunch of past winners as well of this event.
Yeah,
You can run
I would
through.
say worthwhile cause and also worthwhile award. You know, people have definitely earned this award. Let's talk about some of those past winners. So we have why don't you kick us
from
off?
2009. From 2009 on. So yeah, the first award was to John D. Williams Jr. and Jane Williams, the couple. And they were the heads of the NSA, so they pioneered basically North American Scrabble until NSA turned into NASPA.
Annette Tedesco, who is such a huge presence in the Scrabble community, especially in Northern New York.
Yeah, there's Mike Thalen, who created Zizava, which is a really, really important tool. That was 2011, 2012.
2012 to 13 is Stefan Fastis, who obviously wrote Word Freak and grabbed a lot of us into the Scrabble community. Also big proponent of youth Scrabble.
Yeah. John O'Loughlin, Jason Katz-Brown, they made Quackle. So we had Zizava and Quackle. These are two of the biggest tools that tournament players use to improve their game.
Kate Fukuwa-Connolly, she was the founding chair of our social media committee, another big factor in pulling people into the Scrabble community.
Yeah, there's Dallas. We all know Dallas. If we went to North American Scrabble Championships from 2012 to 2016, it was him. It was all him.
Judy Cole, she edits the NASPA news. She's also just an all-around awesome person and incredible trivia player.
Yeah, we have Courtney, who is pioneering, I keep on using that word, youth Scrabble in North America, as she's done so much for kids and for adults.
There's Josh Greenway. I don't really know if he's done anything. Just kidding. He's incredible, and he's also pioneered all sorts of social media press.
Yeah, and finally, Jason and Sue in 2020. They've just been doing so much, again, for Canadian Scrabble and international Scrabble as a whole. So those are the past winners from 2009 to 2020. Now, who's winning in 2021? Oh boy!
Well,
yeah. So let's first introduce John.
Yes,
right?
exactly. Here's who's going to let us know who these winners are. It is our fearless CEO John Chew, CEO of NASPA. It stands for collecting every organization. I don't know. It stands for John Chew is why we have. I was like, trying to come up with, like, a funny thing on the spot, and the key is don't let me improvise. This is not going to happen.
Yeah, I think we have do we have a link to learn more about John? I don't know if we do, but he's going to present the award.
John is
and we're gonna
an incredibly important figure for NASPA. He's spearheading all of what's going on, and I think there's nobody better to announce who our winners are this year.
Yeah, so let's hear from him.
It is my great pleasure today, as CEO of NASPA, to take a few minutes to announce this year's Michael R. Wise Memorial Persons of the Year. Mike Wise taught me by example how to be a Scrabble tournament director, and how we can all contribute our skills to building and maintaining our community of competitive Scrabble players. So as Scrabble players, we are used to sacrifice. In every game, we sacrifice points for the promise of a better future, but we also sacrifice time from other hobbies and other obligations to play in the first place. The pandemic, though, introduced us to a kind of sacrifice that we weren't used to. Social distancing took live play away from us entirely and made us work to preserve our sense of community. It also highlighted the pressing need for an online word gaming platform built with tournament players in mind. A small group of players had already begun work on such a platform, but the stoppage of live play motivated them to devote every spare moment to its development, and after months of effort, they unveiled the result, Woogles.io. Woogles is a testament to the passion and sacrifice of its 5 founding members, César del Solar, Jesse Day, Conrad Bassett-Bouchard, Lola McKissen, and Josh Castellano. I'm delighted, therefore, to congratulate the founders of Woogles as NASPA's Michael R. Wise Memorial Persons of the Year for 2020. Woogles is replete with features geared towards competitive players, but it shines brightest because of its emphasis on community. Woogles' Clubroom feature has allowed NASPA clubs, including my Toronto Scrabble Club, to continue meeting online during the pandemic, and the site has hosted several high-profile online events with its tournament mode capability. Woogles is also open source, which means that anyone can view its code and contribute, further fostering a sense of community among its users. A site as robust and comprehensive as Woogles would take much larger teams of engineers years to build. The Woogles team members' skills, though, perfectly complement each other, and you couldn't ask for a more talented group of creators to build a word gaming platform. César's incredible coding skill and tireless work ethic as Woogles' lead developer have been essential to Woogles' growth. Jesse's leadership as product manager and impressive attention to detail are major reasons for Woogles' success. Conrad's designs are the foundation of Woogles' elegant, seamless user interface. Lola's prodigious front-end development skills and unwavering focus on user experience enable these designs to become reality, and Josh's back-end development work on key features of Woogles, such as its tournament mode capability, have been instrumental. As Woogles has grown, so has its team. I would be remiss not to mention Doug Brockmeyer and Ben Schonbrun as well. Doug's infectious enthusiasm and work ethic handling communications and social media are evident both within the team and to the Woogles user community. Ben manages clubs and tournaments on Woogles, exhibiting a passion for the game that has inspired many others, including me, in Scrabble. I'd also like to specifically single out César for his efforts on behalf of Scrabble over the years. It would have been more than enough to recognize him simply for creating the word study site aerolith.org. Hundreds of members of the competitive Scrabble community use Aerolith every day to study, and I myself have been known to use the site from time to time. César has maintained Aerolith since 2007 and has consistently added new features and improvements over the years. But Woogles is a total team effort, and all of its team members have poured hundreds, if not thousands, of hours into its development. On behalf of NASPA, I sincerely thank the entirety of the Woogles team for creating a platform that provides not only top-notch gameplay, but also a true sense of community which we sorely needed over this past year. They sacrificed their time, their energy, and at times possibly a little bit of their sanity, and the result has been incredible. And this is only the start. Woogles is poised to become even bigger and better in the years ahead. So once again, please join me all in congratulating the founding members of Woogles as NASPA's Persons of the Year. Thank you.
Well, well, well.
Congratulations to the Woogles team.
Woo! All right, so we have 3 of the 5 OG Woogles team members here. We have Lola on the top right, César bottom right, and Jesse on the bottom left. Hannah, what do we say to these people? These are like heroes.
you just won Scrabble Person of the Year. What are you doing next? Just kidding. I'm assuming go to Disneyland.
What are you doing with the money?
I think what we say is thank you so much, like John Chew was saying, for all that you've done this year. And we would love to pick your brain a little bit about how Woogles came to be, what's next for Woogles. And for anyone watching along at home, if you'd like to throw some questions for a Q&A at the end into that YouTube channel, I'm sure the Woogles team would be more than happy to take a stab at them. So question.
Yeah, so let's first have people introduce themselves. So let's start with Lola, okay? Lola, tell us a bit about yourself, and please everybody brag about what you've done. I want the nitty-gritty details of what makes your contribution fantastic to Woogles.
Well, I'm Lola, otherwise known as Brianna, and I've been a software engineer for a long time. And so I was super excited when I heard that César was working on this project. I live out in Salt Lake City mostly. I've moved to Portland recently, but we don't get a lot of in-person tournaments here. So having like somewhere where you can play tournaments online, where you can, have really great Scrabble online has been, what I've dreamed of for many years. Brag. We built a lot of stuff really fast, and lots of people seem to use it.
As someone who doesn't understand how software engineering works at all, I'm sitting here in awe. So just know, for those of us who, unlike I think everyone else on this Zoom, those of us meaning me, who are not technologically minded, it's all very impressive and seemingly impossible. So
right, yeah. So everything you guys see on Woogles, if you've been on Woogles, basically everything you see is Lola's creation, is what I would say. Everything that's beautifully right in front of you, that's Lola. All right, so let's go next to César. Please introduce yourself for some people that somehow don't know who you are. Like he's the guy you asked for autograph, right? Or all three of these people, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm César. I'm César del Solar. I've been playing Scrabble since like 2000, and when the pandemic hit, I was like, I know you guys, if you look at my cross tables history, I was like totally hooked on Scrabble. I mean, I've been totally hooked forever, but like I was going to like multiple tournaments a month, and suddenly that just came to a screeching halt, and I was like, we need to continue doing this online, and that's kind of what motivated me to start building this platform with and find people to help me out. And I think like most of the stuff that I work on is not something that you can see like on the screen, because it's more like the back end, but like all like the logic and like the bots and like the just gluing all the code together. It's kind of like glue all the stuff that Lola and Josh do and like make it all like work together.
Yeah, so the two people that aren't in this call, unfortunately, are Josh Castellano and Conrad Bassett-Bouchard, who also were part of the original team. So when César says Josh, it's not me, it's not Josh Greenway, it's the other Josh. There's too many Joshes. I should change my name. But yeah, César and Josh being the main backend developers for the team. So let's hand it off to Jesse. Tell us a bit about yourself. Comment ça va?
What's going on, folks? It's a pleasure to be with everyone. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival to anyone celebrating. Yeah, I'm Jesse. I've been playing Scrabble for half my life, which is, I think, pretty much true for everyone on this call, actually. And yeah, my role with the Woogles team, César and I worked together, and we dabbled in some Scrabble-related projects, but it took just kind of a perfect confluence of events where, like, over a few years, we'd worked a little bit on kind of the more technical sides of the game, but we started we just basically stumbled across these like brilliant people who wanted to contribute their time to making this project happen, and there was this just this alignment of vision and purpose. It's the best team that I've ever been a part of, certainly, in terms of building something. And so my role on the team is I'm a product manager. That's also what I do in industry. For those of you unacquainted with what a product manager does, nothing, effectively. It's mostly telling other people to do stuff. It's so I'm sort of piggybacking on the coattails of the hard work of the rest of the team. But really, I do want to shout out everyone from the team who helped get to this point. Like, their names have already come up, but Josh, partnering with César on the back end, Will, our original kind of community organizer, Ben Schoenbrunn, who's stepped into Will's shoes and done a great job with that, Doug, who helped us fulfill our Kickstarter commitments, sending out like hundreds of stickers, t-shirts, sweatshirts. Actually, we still have some for any of y'all who feel like you missed out. So y'all can message me for please message one of us if you're interested. But yeah, and Conrad. Conrad is, I think, when Conrad joined in March last year, that was the moment where we kind of aligned on like, what's the biggest thing we could do together, and that's when the project took life. So this wouldn't have happened without him, for sure.
And when we say that I've, built the things that you see, yeah, he designs them. I just turn them into reality. So
yeah.
This is a lot of modest replies from people who did something.
Yeah, I did say brag, I think, right? I wasn't.
I'd love to show you someone else who admires your work, and that's Dan Stock, who is famous for creating those tableaus you might see at the NASC. And he's created a tableau for you all. You have a lot of S's in your name, so it's hard to fit you all in there, but he did an impressive job as always. It says César de Solar and his enabled, fresh, inventive Woogles team foxily kept our game in biz to gain our quite juicy top award. So mazel tov to you. Big honor being on that Dan Stock board.
A huge honor.
Ooh, we have a surprise video. What am I hearing in the background? Is this true?
Hey, Wooglers, Will here. Just wanted to congratulate you guys on being NASPA's Persons of the Year. It's incredibly well deserved. Obviously, I have a unique perspective, got to see firsthand how hard you guys have worked on the site, play a very, very small role in the site's success and growth. And even now that I'm a former member, as anybody that watches my stream knows, I'm still on the site playing a lot of games. It actually got me curious, and I've played more games in less than a year on Woogles than I have in 12 years of ISC, and that's a testament to how good the site is. So I can't wait to see where the site goes from here. You guys make me excited for the future of the game. So congrats again, incredibly well deserved.
That's insane. Oh my God. More games in 1 year. That's ridiculous. I had no idea.
The pandemic
more games on Woogles.
Amazing. Well, we'd love to pick your brains a little bit about kind of the history of Woogles, how it all got started. Can you tell us a bit about, I mean, you touched on this a little bit when you were introducing yourselves, but tell us a little bit about how this all got started and when this exact Avengers team assembled.
I mean, look, I'll let César give the intro, but César has dedicated a fair share of his adult life to making tools for the rest of us. So this is nothing new, right? This is like a decade of work in the making. Notice César's cool hat, by the way. He's got his Woogles, one of a kind Woogles hat, which I'm very jealous of.
And it's not like César has anything else going on in his life, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's employed enough
or anything like that.
Yeah, no, we started as Jesse mentioned. We were just messing around with like the more technical sides of the game, like meaning like AI stuff. We were like just researching like how to make our own like bot, how to use machine learning, and we made some progress. Like we actually came up with some good like leaf values and like an end game that like we have an end game engine that is pretty much perfect, but it's extremely slow. So that's something that we're going to work on fixing. But like it can like exhaustively solve end games. And anyway, we were just doing all this kind of stuff, and then suddenly the pandemic hit. And at the same time, like Conrad reached out to us and said like he wanted to help us put a UI on this thing that we were building, this AI engine. But we had a meeting and we decided, why don't we build like a whole platform? Like it's not just the AI, but it's a whole platform where people can play, where we can have clubs and tournaments and like learning modes and all sorts of things that we haven't built yet, but we will build in the future. And that's how it started. I think this was in late April, early May, and then we just started coding. And I needed a lot of help with the front end, and I posted a message and on I think it was Scrabble International, and then like Lola reached out to me right away, like within like a few minutes, and then I was like, great. And she's like been the perfect addition to the team. And Josh Castellano is a good friend of mine, and he also reached out to me, and he said he wanted to help like shortly after. So then basically that was like early May of last year. And I think since then we added a few more people. Like, Will was a great part of the team for a bit. I understand that he had other obligations, but it was awesome to have him. And I love this video just now. And Josh and Doug and Ben have been fantastic additions as well. They're totally talking to all the directors and talking to people and sending shirts out and posting on Facebook, all the stuff that like I don't really have time to do because we're just coding a lot. I'm just doing mostly just coding. And
for viewers at home, we told the Woogles team to pretend they really liked each other before the broadcast, and they are performing it to it.
We were all in Milwaukee recently. I don't know if people know that. It was awesome.
Yeah, there's a cool meetup. This is the most FOMO I've had since the start of the pandemic, since usually the FOMO is when there are fun tournaments that I can't attend, but then you guys went ahead and did this without me, which I totally understand.
That was the first time that we'd actually all met as a team.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, ever.
Yeah.
There was lots of beer, cheese curds, and Scrabble and anagrams. It was a lot of fun.
So, okay. Did we, when exactly did Woogles launch, and what is the model that you guys are using for your website? Who can answer that?
You want to take that, Jesse?
Yeah. Let's see.
October 15th.
We launched a Kickstarter, right? So we got together and decided that to make this like a sustainable venture, we'd have to try to raise funds on Kickstarter, or that it was a reasonable thing to do. And we set a target for ourselves of $15,000, and we hit that within 24 hours. I think that was the moment. I think that happened in July 2020. And I think that was a moment where we sort of realized we were onto something. It wasn't clear 100% before then. I mean, we thought what we were doing was good, but that was like a really big moment of validation that we were actually doing something that people wanted to support. And we put together kind of, in some ways, what we're kind of operating as like a software startup in some respects. So I put together collectively, we put together kind of a launch plan and some significant dates. Like we're actually still in beta technically, which means that what you're seeing, we've been talking about getting rid of that. But it means what you see is still a work in progress. It'll always be a work in progress. But yeah, I think we had some really early playtesters who helped us significantly. I'll call out Lukeman Owolabi for helping us wrangle some playtesters to give us some good feedback. And I think we opened to the public, to the whole world, December 15th or something like that.
October 15th.
October, I thought we did like a launch for our backers, and then okay.
No.
Shows what I know.
October 15th is when we got out of private alpha.
Cool.
Speaking of opening that up, can you talk a little bit about why you're committed to being open source? Because it's clearly something that's taken a lot of time, and time is money. And I'm, for one, amazed that this isn't something that you've asked people to pay for.
I can tackle my part of that. I think I believe very strongly. I myself personally believe very strongly in open source software, right? And it's not something necessarily that the whole team believes as strongly as I do, but I think that it helps us like get people to contribute. It doesn't lock up information and knowledge. I feel like if it was closed, like there would be stuff that is lost. And like right now, like we've had people contribute to us. Like they've been able to like the analyzer, for example, was built by a guy in Singapore who's been helping us, Andy Cornia. He's been a very, very good contributor to our team, and he's been helping us a lot with doing like just a lot of like little like bug fixes and just big features. Like he also built like the Clabbers mode that we made called WordSmog, and as well as the analyzer and a few other things. And like without it being open source, we wouldn't have been able to make as much progress on that. I think like we wouldn't be able to like onboard people as easily. And there's a few people on the chat I know who have contributed code as well. Even like things like what do you call it? Even things like documentation or like just like typo fixes and things like that. Like it's just cool to have a community where we can all just contribute to the code and watch it change in front of you. So I think just locking away knowledge is not something that I want to do. So that's why I like it being open source, and I just wanted it to stay that way. But anybody else can tell me your thoughts on that as well.
Well,
yeah,
right.
I mean, I think
Go
that,
for it,
it's also a thing that, a lot of us are software engineers, and the same as, we're committed to, helping people learn our game. It's something I think that helps, new people learn to code, is just having good code out there that people can read and learn from. And we've had a few people that are really new to software development that have, kind of dipped their toes in and been able to look through our code base and learn some stuff and get excited about programming. And it's very secondary to the Scrabble stuff, but it's something that, is important to a lot of us.
Yeah, and speaking of bringing in new people, can you talk about how you hope like fostering this community is bringing in new players, especially during the pandemic? I'm sure that was a particularly important time to have this online community, right?
Yeah, I feel really strongly about it. You may know this, but the other people in this team are really, really good at Scrabble. And I'm very passionate about learning to play Scrabble. And so, it's important to me that I think that there are a lot of people out there, that would absolutely love our game if they just knew there was competitive Scrabble, if there was somewhere where they could learn, the strategy, start learning the words, and just get excited about it. Where I said, I'm from an area where we don't have a lot of Scrabble. We've got a club here that's full of great people, but it's small. We don't have tournaments out here. And so being able to let all of the people that aren't in a coast, aren't necessarily friends with someone who plays, be able to love this the way that we love it, is what really makes me excited.
Totally. Awesome. Well, we'd love to ask you a little bit about the growth of Scrabble live streaming, which is obviously a big appeal of Woogles, is that people can follow along with these tournaments. Can you tell us a little bit about, I guess, how you make that happen, and also and the importance of it happening, I guess?
So it's something that, we don't have even probably 10% built of the stuff that we hope for streaming mode. There's a lot of things we would like to integrate directly with Twitch, maybe YouTube Live, be able to make that a lot easier for people to be able to draw people into the game. There's a lot of great streams out there right now, but there's not a lot of streaming of our game. And so we think that, that's a big goal that we have, is to be able to make it easier, because it is fun. It's fun to watch Will stream. It's fun to watch people play. And there's been a lot of people that have come in from like chess backgrounds or video game backgrounds already, just watching that stuff, watching Josh, and just seeing how fun this
is. That Josh.
So not only has the Woogles team made this possible to just broadcast our game and have no shame about the features that we have for our websites and the analysis tools, like César creating Aerolith, Jason and John O'Loughlin creating Quackle, Mike Thalen and Ziziva. Like all these tools were all created by by the community, for the community, as grassroots. And to be able to now go and use these tools to present our game to a wider audience is fantastic. Like, as a streamer, I will never be able to, like, I mean, thank you guys for all the work that you do. And not only that, they've created these tools and then they come and hang out and support live streamers that are using these tools that they created, as if like they need to do that. Like, we're supporting you, honestly. Anyways,
Well, Josh,
I'll stop ranting.
Quickly, like we're a platform, right? Ultimately, that's how we think of ourselves. Like, we're
right,
like a platform in the sense that like we're a vessel for other people's like aspirations and the dream events they want to run. And so this wouldn't happen without you. I'd kind of flip it back at you. Like, we're depending on you to tell us how to grow our platform, like what we need to have in there so you can succeed. And that goes to everyone else who's watching. Like, we're ultimately here to, like, we think we have a beautiful game and community, and like if you have a great idea for an event to run, like, pitch it to us. We want to make it happen.
So what, yeah, like what, talk to people about like the events that have run though on the platform, because there have been many events and there will be more to come. But yeah, what have people maybe potentially missed that happened on your beautiful website?
I think the highlight for me was probably, you guys talked about New Orleans coming up, but being able to do, janitor has arrived in my building here. I'm sorry, everyone. Hopefully it won't be too late.
Lighting is amazing.
The virtual Crescent City Cup that we did in January was just amazing. How many people turned out and played, and there were 2 divisions for each lexicon. We actually had the code blow up on us in the middle, and we were just scrambling to try to get it all live and keep the tournament up, and just barely managed by the skin of our teeth. And it was probably the most fun I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. I mean, we also hosted 2 World Youth Championships already. Those have been run by the Pakistan Scrabble Association. And it's been great for the growth of our platform. Like, a lot of those, like especially a lot of the young players are kind of digital natives and have really taken our platform.
One of my favorite tournaments, I think it was a tournament called like the ASCII, I forget the exact name, but it was like 300 people in Malaysia, like mostly kids, and they were doing it like, you know, in the middle of the night for us. So like, I was like, oh God, I hope everything's working before going to bed, right? And then like it was successful, and they had like hundreds and hundreds of people like turn out, and like it was great. And I think they even like had like a whole bunch of directors and monitoring and everything. And then they invited me to this like Zoom like award ceremony, which had like several hundred people in it, and there's all these Scrabble skits and Scrabble songs, and like there was a whole bunch of directors like all wearing the same shirt and like doing like, you know, hand signals. And it was like, wow, this thing was amazing. Like I kind of wish that we had more of those, like, you know, even here on the Western Hemisphere, but anywhere in the world is fine. But I love that excitement around the platform. They kind of featured us like briefly, like to thank us, and everybody was like, wow, it's Woogles. So it was really cool to see that.
That's like Ted Lasso levels of wholesome. I love that.
Yeah, it was so wholesome. Like I want to like link you guys to some later to some videos, because I think they have some videos on YouTube, like performances.
You're gonna make me tear up.
Yeah, it was really cute.
Speaking of just this amazing community you fostered, does anyone want to talk a little bit about this Discord group that's popped up, or the Facebook group, all these social media groups that are alive and thriving? Take it away.
Yeah. I'm just worried about the janitor. She's running around, so I don't want it to be too noisy here. But our Discord has a ton of people. I'm always surprised how much people are on there. There's channels where people are just posting, you know, like, I hit this position, what was really the right play, and they're discussing it. A lot of just silliness, a lot of talking about the streams, and I don't know the exact count, but I think there's like 800 people in that Discord right now, which is kind of crazy.
That's awesome. And I imagine just like Woogles user base, it's probably people from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Very cool.
And I love the excitement of like the contributors too, because like there's a couple of contributors specifically that I wanted to shout out who are not like who are not on this call, but like Andy Cornea, who I mentioned earlier, and Weibin, To Weibin they're both from Singapore. And like Weibin has like set up like so many like bots in our Discord channel that like alert us to like when new streams are happening. So that's how I can always like join these streams. Like if you guys join our Discord, you can see the streams as they happen, and you can join in and like say hi. And like a lot of them are Woogles streams, which is really cool to see. And there's all sorts of like bots and just like emotes, and people are just like contributing stuff. It's really cool. They're sharing like blog articles and like tech stuff and like positions and ideas for the game and things like that. So it's just really cool to see that. Like very like it's a passionate community of contributors and like fans.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, we would love to talk about some of what's coming up next for Woogles before we jump into this Q&A. Can you tell us any cool features we should be on the lookout for which we should be on the lookout?
Yeah, I'll take this one. That was the purpose of our gathering last month, or kind of our offsite in Milwaukee. Was kind of thinking, like reflecting on what worked in the first year and planning for what we're going to achieve the next year. One thing that came out of that immediately that people have really taken to, and that has really taken our site to another level, has been we did a hackathon, like a 3-day hackathon, and out of that we developed bots with a range of difficulty levels. So you can now go find a bot that matches your skill level. We got a beginner bot. I encourage everyone to give them a shot. It's a lot of fun, and as a result of that, actually this past week has been like easily our highest usage count ever. Like we regularly have over 1,000 people log into Woogles every day and playing a game, which is like I never would have expected. So I think a lot of our focus for the next year is kind of going with our core principles, which is that everyone everywhere should be able to play and grow and learn. So we're both going to try to like think about ways that we can make our game more accessible and have learning tools and get people into our space who aren't already there. And then on top of that, we're also going to invest heavily into tournaments and tournament management. So our vision is that you're going to be able to create a tournament on Woogles, run it entirely on Woogles. You don't need to download software. Your participants don't need to download anything. No more tally slips. And we're going to work hard on making that available in the next year.
That sounds amazing. I'm personally very excited for that.
Yeah, so there's the tournament mode. There's also just tons and tons of clubs that meet on a weekly basis on Woogles virtually. A few of those clubs have started meeting in person, but a lot of the ones that have started meeting in person again are still holding club nights on Woogles on different nights of the week, just to keep everybody like able to play. So that's been really cool. There's if you go onto the website, there's find my club or tournament, and you can find all clubs that are near to you. And most of those clubs, you don't have to live in the city to play in. You could just tell them, oh, I want to play with your club, and you can meet people that are potentially nearby to you, potentially not nearby to you. But that's the beauty of it all being online. So there's just so many tools. There's the Discord, there's just on the website itself, you can find all sorts of tools and all sorts of ways to meet people that love Scrabble. And there's also a Facebook group as well.
And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't give a lot of credit to the success of Woogles to all of the club directors and the tournament directors that have been willing to run events and to give us a chance and to bring their players over. So it's been really great.
Yeah, my first interaction with Woogles was last year. God, it feels like 400 years ago. I had gone home to North Carolina to quarantine at my mom's house, and we would play every week in Judy Cole's tournaments on Woogles. That was awesome. Special shout out to Judy Cole, but it was awesome. And yeah, just like I'm sure many people who are watching, I was so hungering for tournament Scrabble. And how nice to thank goodness this pandemic didn't happen in 2002 because it would have been a lot worse off.
Yeah, no, it's been fantastic for people to be able to reconnect via Woogles. So yeah, there's a bunch of also, I don't know, like there are a bunch of features as well on the website that are special and unique to the website. So I wanted to know if one of you wanted to talk about those special features, because I use a lot of them and I enjoy them so much.
What's your favorite? Turning the tables on you, Josh.
My favorite is the blindfold mode for sure. For sure.
Can you tell us, people who aren't on Woogles, a little bit what blindfold mode does?
Yeah, I'm not going to answer this, even though I can because I use it so much. But yeah, I'm going to let one of you guys answer.
Well, that's another open source. That's kind of the benefit of being open source, is that I believe that was Daniel Dugovich, if I'm not mistaken. But that was just something that one of our contributors was inspired to do, code it up. We reviewed it and put it. If you're wondering, like, why have I never seen this before? Each of you has an options menu, and it's under secret features, because obviously you don't want to turn on blindfold mode if that's not what you're trying to do. That's would probably be slightly confusing to have your computer chirp plays at you. But yeah, I mean, we really loved how when blindfold mode came out, like streamers started trying to beat our bot on blindfold. And I think Jackson was the first person to do it successfully. I couldn't believe that. It blows my mind.
Yeah, in under 10 minutes. I think that was the thing. Yeah. He has a video of himself beating the bot in under 10 minutes on blindfold.
Right, exactly. So basically blindfold mode allows you to use your keyboard to get the website to, as Jesse was saying, chirp back at you what's going on. So everything you basically need to know about what plays are being made, what letters you have, how much time you have left, what letters are left in the bag, all of those things, you're able to use your keyboard and it'll tell you those things. So not only can people who are like perfectly able to see Scrabble can play that on that mode, but also people that can't see, that might want to try it, give Scrabble a try, will be able to use Woogles. So that's one of the features. There are other features as well, like Clabber's mode and telestration. What about those?
Yeah, I can talk quickly about, like, for example, like the telestrator. That was another open source feature built by Andy Cornia, our contributor from Singapore, who lets you draw on the board while you're playing, and you can draw like shapes, like squares, rectangles, like circles, whatever. But like I've seen people use this in streams, so you can see, like, can quickly highlight an area of the board, draw an arrow, or draw like a lane or whatever you think. And I think like it's kind of similar to some of the chess streams. I don't know if you guys have seen chess streams where they have like all the arrows, like where pieces can go. So similarly, we've started to do that for Scrabble, and I think it's a good way to teach people. I've seen several of our streamers use the telestrator pretty often.
And bingos, when you don't want them to, you can like draw little devil horns on it and be like,
if you're mad at them for bingoing.
That's a good idea.
Pictionary mode.
Yeah,
draw some like stink lines coming out of it, like this place sucks.
Yeah. The Clabber's mode has a built-in analyzer, which I don't think any site ever has done. Like,
what's Clabber's?
So we call it word smog. It's an anagram of OMG words. But yeah, you guys can enable that in your profile, and then you can like start Clabber's or word smog games and match other people. And we used to have some word smog tournaments, which we want to bring back. Like, we need to like kind of like, if you want to create a word smog tournament, just let us know, and we can like just host it and put it on the announcements. And I think they're really fun. It really like one of the most amazing things is that the analyzer will find every possible move. So
Clabber's is, if you don't know what Clabber's is or word smog, it's basically a version of Scrabble where you can play any word on the board as long as it's an anagram of a valid word. So you can mix letters up however you want, and all words that are left to right and top to bottom can be valid as long as they have a valid anagram. So it's a ridiculous variant of Scrabble that they've been able to integrate. And the best part of it is you go back in the game and you can see what plays you missed that are just completely insane, like 12-letter words and stuff.
I can
And
guarantee this never happened before. I can
And I
guarantee no
think,
one's delivered
and
that.
I think for those of us, you know, who are nowhere near being able to play clabbers at all, I think it's just the analyzer itself, I think is probably my favorite feature, is just being
Yes.
able to, at the end of your game, hit examine and see what you missed. And not just what was there as far as score, but also like factoring in your equity, the value of what you left on your rack. That's been really useful. And when you're watching somebody else play, you can actually do that in real time, as some people pointed out in the chat. So you can be watching somebody else's game, trying to figure out what are they going to play, what should they play, and see what's actually available there while they're playing.
Wow. I have to say, one of the things I miss most about tournament Scrabble is just those after hours games where there are all sorts of variations. And that's one of the things that's been hardest to find, you know, mid-COVID, because obviously there aren't a lot of platforms where you can do load wage or clabbers or Metroids or Canadian Scrabble and all of these fun combinations. And so how incredible.
What's
and
Canadian Scrabble? What?
Yeah, I don't think I know that one.
You can flip over one tile to become a blank if you bingo.
That's what you call it? So that's what Americans call
I
it?
just report what I've heard, baby. Tag team. Super fun one. The point is, yeah, and then every like 5 seconds you take a shot of maple syrup. It's a whole thing. It's like all the stereotypes. Anywho, the point is, seems like a lot of these features, not only do we have you to thank, but all of these collaborators. And not only has it been a community-based code, but it's been, you know, open source with the code, but it's also been community funded. So I'd love to talk a little bit about that. Would you like to tell us a bit about where you're getting these funds, and do you still need funds, and how people can donate?
Sure.
Yeah. Do you want to take this, Jesse, or I can
Sure.
talk?
We're a 501c3 nonprofit. We actually applied successfully for federal nonprofit status. Your donations are tax deductible.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just go to woogles.io/donate, it's that easy. Just choose the amount you want to send our way, and what you contribute helps make this sustainable in perpetuity. That's our goal. We're not just a pandemic thing, but you know, we think that we're helping to shape the future of the game. And if you believe in what we're doing, then I encourage y'all to chip in a few dollars.
And tell us the name of that site one more time.
Woogles.io/donate.
Love it. Awesome. Well, I think if you'll bear with us for a few more minutes, we'd love to take some audience questions, some questions people have been sending along our way. Josh, you want to kick us off?
Sure. So the first question is very funny. Will asks if you can make HastyBot trash talk.
That would be an amazing hackathon or contributor thing. Like seriously.
I very briefly looked into using one of those like corpuses of like GPT-3 or whatever it's called, you know, that can just construct English sentences, but they didn't give me access to it. So maybe next year.
So that was the first one. Do you have the questions, Hannah, or you want me to keep going?
You go for it.
Okay, so
I got him. I take it back.
Okay.
Free Pogue would like to know something about multiple secret. You know what, Josh? I give it back to you.
So yeah, what do you guys think about allowing users to create multiple secret quests at once, perhaps for different time formats, or for different game formats, or even for different lexicon formats? What do you think about that?
We do have some stuff that that Josh Castellano has been working on that is along those lines of being able to put out a seek that is more like a range of what kind of game you're looking for, to see, you know, we don't know when we'll get it done. We all have full-time jobs, but that's something that's in the works that should help a lot with that.
Okay, a range. Okay, so instead of putting multiple requests at once, it's like I would be willing to play this amount of time to this amount of time in this lexicon. That seems interesting. Okay.
Daniel Dugovich is my big guess here. Would like to know if you have any plans to evolve the UX for beginning players or streamers.
Absolutely. Again, full-time jobs, but we have a lot of big dreams for a learning mode, for something where you could actually be integrating the things that César has on Aerolith, to be able to help with board vision, so that you could perhaps, for example, be playing against one of the bots and be getting tips while playing unrated in that mode that tell you, like, maybe you should be looking for a play in this area. Mm-hmm. Or, if you're looking to open up the board, this is a good play for this. This other one that you're trying probably close to the board more than you'd like. And having things like that kind of help us mortals kind of learn to do the pattern recognition that the rest of these guys just seem to just do.
Yeah.
That's great. We actually got a donation, I think, live on stream, guys, from Thomas Greiling, I think, in chat, saying he just tossed in $5 and is playing his first game on Woogles.
Thank you, Tag Coins. Awesome. I see it.
That's very cute.
That's amazing.
That's awesome, yeah.
I wanted to say, what about so I think you guys have talked about this before, puzzles. Like, how, for example, in chess, they'll give you puzzles. What do you guys think about the idea of having like endgame puzzles or like positional puzzles where there's a bingo that you have to find or a really high scoring play? What do you think about that?
That's like secretly like my next like big thing that I'm thinking about. And I think Lola and I like discussed this like during our Milwaukee trip, which is actually super productive. We spent like 3 days, like 9 to 5, just working during the weekend instead of we hung out.
You made it sound sad.
Well, no, it's okay. It was super productive. We had like a breakout session. So then Lola and I were talking about ways to bring more people, and we talked about having like a simple puzzle mode, something that just takes like you could just link somebody to a position, but instead of the way it looks right now, you can like put in like a, you can make it a puzzle position, and then it'll let the person try different things, and then if they get it right, put the check mark or whatever. So that's like a nice way of creating puzzles that we can share, and I think that's something that we will look at, sooner rather than later. So I think it would be great to have puzzles. I think that's a way that people learn, and there's other things in the pipeline that are similar. So hopefully you'll be able to see something soonish.
Just like a simple thing that makes what we're doing more shareable is that, unlike previous platforms, every game has a unique ID. It's uniquely linkable. You can link to any play from any game, share the link. I don't think any of that has been done before.
Yeah, that's the case right now. I mean, every game stays forever. We're not going to do
exactly.
Super Scrabble. Does everyone know what Super Scrabble is? What
Why
about
don't you tell us,
Josh? Different types of boards? Like maybe boards with like different bonus squares, or larger boards with larger tile sets. What do you guys think about that idea?
I think alternative boards could be something in the future. I think for answering the specific Super Scrabble question, I think Conrad would beat us up if we tried to answer it without him here, because it really is trying to fit that many squares and make the tiles small enough to see into a computer screen that works for everybody, people with small monitors, people with old computers. That really is the challenge for something like that.
Right. It was a big priority for us to build something when we realized where a lot of the Scrabble playing world, OMG words playing world lies. A lot of it is in the developing world where people are like regularly playing on smartphones and maybe don't have as much access to full screen computers, right? So it was really important for us to build an experience that worked on mobile web, so you can pick up your phone and play a game whenever you want. Yeah. And just like my selfish bias, I would actually start smaller because I think it's a better way to get people in the door.
Yeah, so there's a question about hotkeys for exchanges, like 1 through 7, I guess. Yeah, so how there are different things you can do, like pass, exchange, resign. Like is there any plans to get those all to be hotkeyable, basically, where you can just press a key twice on your keyboard and it'll do the thing?
A lot of them are the main buttons that you can see when you're playing. If you move your mouse, if you're playing on a computer and you move your mouse over them, you'll actually see the number that does that button kind of appear in the corner. If you just kind of hover over it.
Yeah.
So,
I believe exchange
but yeah,
is
I mean,
for-
it's the kind of thing too that would be really great, you know, if people in the community, you know, wanted to, you know, add commands for more of those things. It's something that shouldn't be too difficult if anybody out there has time and would love to give it a whirl.
Cool.
Some of us more contribute our on-stage presence to the Scrabble community and have no idea how coding works. So just gonna throw that out there. When you say shouldn't be too difficult for me, that is very much above my head. But I'm very appreciative to all the people for whom it's not too difficult.
Yeah, no, I
Okay,
wanted, I just
go
wanted
ahead,
to mention
César.
something. Yeah, something really briefly along those lines. We've had contributors who don't know how to code or don't code at all. Who have submitted like I wanted to mention really quickly Kenji and Erickson Smith, Kenji Matsumoto and Erickson Smith, who like went through every single word in the Scrabble dictionary to determine which ones were common English words. And I think David Eldar was also involved, as well as Danny Barker. So they went through every single word, determining which are the common words, and then that lexicon you can play with it, and that's the lexicon that the easy bots play. So if you're playing against one of the easier bots, they only know those words. So I think it's really cool, like that they did that, and it didn't involve any coding knowledge on their part, but it was a huge amount of time spent just to contribute that. I think it's really awesome.
Wow.
And there's so much help that we need that, you know, isn't coding too, you know, things, if you want a job, Hannah, like just making videos showing people how to use, you know, how to use Woogles and explaining the features and things like that is something that would be so useful. So, you know, if you have any kind of skill that you think is completely irrelevant, but you want to help with the project, just let us know. I bet we can find a way to make use of it.
Bake for Woogles. That is my sole skill here. Yes, there you have it. Awesome. Josh, I feel like you had one more question you wanted to ask.
So I think Steven Alexander asked about any agreements, even if informal, with Hasbro, Merriam-Webster, Collins, I guess Mattel, NASPA, or others, in terms of just like legally being allowed to play Scrabble. I guess was the tough question we got tonight.
Oh, we play OMG words, so it's okay.
Okay.
There you have it.
We're making no effort to portray what we're doing on Woogles.io as the official Scrabble brand crossword game that is copyrighted. But yeah, with that said, I mean, we're hoping that our mission and like, you know, the fact that we're not doing this for our personal profit like resonates to bigger organizations, and that they'll eventually want to support what we're doing. So we'll see.
Amazing. We'll end with this, which I think might be the toughest hardball question of all. Judy Levitt asks, will Woogles be more successful than OkCupid? Your thoughts?
At what?
Say. That's a good follow-up. Good point.
Well,
and for whom, right?
We hope to have more people playing each other rather than everybody playing against bots. And I guess that happens in OkCupid as well, right? So
that's I mean, our game has done something for you, right? Something special.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And you're not the only one.
Yeah, no, like there's a lot of Scrabble couples, but I met my wife through Scrabble, and now I'll be a dad in 2 weeks. I'm allowed to say that, right? Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Scrabble baby.
Scrabble
amazing.
baby.
Well, thank you all so much. First off, for all you do. I feel like that's been, I mean, I've learned some of the things that you've done just in doing this broadcast. So thank you for all of that. And thank you for being here and for answering all of our questions. And for just bringing the Scrabble community that much closer. And we have a few other people we'd love to thank. We'd love to thank Josh Greenway. If Josh, if you want to pop on screen for a little bit, he organized this whole event.
Ooh, hello.
Woo! And
thanks Hannah and Josh, you guys were great, and thanks to the Woogles team, and thanks for everybody for watching.
Yeah, okay. That was thanks, Josh. Thank you so much, man.
And we'd like to, of course, thank NASPA and all of the past Person of the Year winners who've also contributed so much to Scrabble. Josh, who am I missing here?
I mean, thank you, Hannah, for being here. I think that's all. Oh, okay, yeah, there's me too. Okay, great. I think we have everyone then. But yeah, even to all the Woogles team members that weren't able to be here, Conrad, Josh Castellano, Doug, Benji, thanks to them as well, even though they weren't able to make it tonight. They're really helping contribute to something fantastic. And as Lola mentioned, only around, like, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more coming to this platform, and I can't wait to see what's next. So thank you guys, really, from the bottom of my heart. Like, you guys just, yeah, I don't even know.
Thank you to everyone who's watching, and we'll see you either at one of those live tournaments or on Woogles or both.
All right, we're gonna wave goodbye. Goodbye.
Thank y'all for Woogles.